Let's talk more about this potential deal with Major John Spencer. He is an Army veteran and chair of urban warfare studies at West Point. He's also the co-author of Understanding Urban Warfare. Major, thank you so much for your time. And let's start with this hostage deal. I just wanted to get your reaction. And, are you surprised, or did you expect this, that any potential deal to release hostages would have included a prisoner exchange and the ratio would be 3-to-1, 3 Palestinian prisoners in Israel to be released for each civilian hostage out of Gaza?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, it's amazing news, and if it happens, that'll be amazing. And of course, if that was my children or my loved one, I would want everything possible to be done. But as a military person, I also understand basically the risk. This is a negotiation. This is trade-offs. A pause in fighting when there's lots going on, to include Israeli soldiers being now attacked from behind as they clear through dense urban terrain, and the complexity of this, and the concern for civilian casualties as the fighting unfortunately continues. And even just yesterday, Hamas launched a massive salvo of rockets at Tel Aviv, and all these come into consideration when Israel moves forward with the negotiation. But it'll be amazing if it actually happens.
So what would a pause of 4 to 5 days and the ceasing of surveillance drones on the Israeli side over Gaza to collect intelligence, what would that mean for Hamas to regroup?
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny the risk and the fact that that would be a likely outcome. I don't know the specifics of where and how. Now it's talking about a certain number of hours. But those are the hard political risks that the Israeli government has to consider in a situation, the tactical situation, the tactical implications of it. But I'm sure they're fully aware of what that would mean. Hamas would have a chance to reposition, rearm, further prepare. But that's not in saying that Israel's not in a position to understand that when they make the decision.
And what about on the Israeli side, and in terms of strategizing from beyond the 4 to 5 days, because there could be more negotiations if this hostage release actually happens and is successful, then this could mean a longer pause, correct?
I mean, I don't want to, if anybody tells you they know for sure, then you probably shouldn't be talking to them. But I mean, there's all kinds of possibility. War is politics. War is human. I don't see the war ending until Hamas is destroyed. But that's a military perspective. But ultimately, yes, we want Israel safer. We want peace in the region. We want all the killing on both sides to stop. That's really complex. I can't say that this one deal then leads to more pauses. I hope it leads to more hostage negotiations and a continuing pursuit of peace and stopping the conflict.
Where do you see this objective to destroy Hamas? Where do you see it to be today in terms of the progress? The last we heard in terms of the military operations is that the IDF saying that it has completely encircled the northern city of Jabalia. We know that there is a large refugee camp there. How is this objective progressing, in your opinion?
Yeah, Matt, it's actually progressing a lot faster than I had imagined, but also there were both overestimations and underestimations. I think we underestimated the threat of the tunnel, the underground city in Gaza, the entire strip. Over 500 entrances have been found. There possibly could be thousands of this 300-mile network. So I think we underestimated. Then we overestimated, I think, the sheer size of the Hamas ground forces. Basically, clearly they have a lot of rocket supplies. But what shouldn't have been a surprise is the real complexity of this fighting. Like you said, in Jabalia, where the strike happened earlier in the war, that there's a lot of fighting still to be done, a lot of Hamas fighters resisting in that area. And this is why this type of warfare takes not weeks, but months. If your goal is really to clear Hamas military capability out of these dense urban populated areas.
But, and just lastly, I mean, you don't see hostilities, I guess, increasing while these hostage negotiations obviously continuing.
I think the fighting will continue until there's an agreement on where there would be a pause. And I'm all for any pause that allows for more humanitarian efforts and humanitarian evacuations. But like the rockets that are still going to be launched, and you could see rockets possibly being launched, and this is the position that the Israel and the IDF in these locations are put in, really.
Major John Spencer, we really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.